Right, good morning everyone and welcome to Jenny, our Jet Set Jenny. Oh, that's a good name, isn't it? Jet Set Jenny, who's joining us all the way from the US of A. So Jenny, thank you for still being with us today for the Renny show, even though you're so far away.
It's an absolute pleasure, Rachel. Good morning, everybody. Is it good morning? It's good morning here.
It's lunchtime for us, but morning for you.
Yes, early morning for me. So I arrived in Florida last night. I'm here to visit family and celebrate my grandson's first birthday. So it's a big trip. So I'm excited about that, but also wonderful. Delighted to be here.
Oh, well, fantastic. A very happy first birthday to little Archie, and I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic time. Oh, you've turned around the other way.
Sorry, I turned the right way around then. That's better. Yeah.
That's great. I can see you even better now, which is wonderful. As always, Jenny and I will be asking each other questions that we have no idea about in advance. And if you'd like to be a part of that, you can ask us questions too. In fact, we do have some viewer questions to use in the show today. So we're excited to see where that goes. But please do get involved. Type things to us in the comments, ask questions, and challenge us any way you like. So I guess we'll get started then. So if you don't mind, Jenny, I'm going to sort of backtrack slightly to the theme of the last show, which was Mental Health Awareness Week, just to kind of touch on that again, really, because we're still in the month of May, and it's to ask, have you got a top tip for dealing with anxiety?
Oh, that's a good one. Actually, I'm not a naturally anxious person, but I think the thing to remind people is that being anxious is a natural feeling. It is a feeling that occurs, and it's kind of on that spectrum, isn't it, between excitement and terror.
Yes,
it's somewhere on that. So I think the first thing, my top tip is first to acknowledge it, to really acknowledge that it's happening. The second one is to think about, appreciate how it's serving us. What's our body trying to do with it? How does it serve us? And the third thing is to accept it and actually to go with it. So actually, once you start to relax into it and you realize what your body is trying to do, along with all the other top tips that people know about, breathing, focusing on something different, distracting yourself, focusing on the things that you can do, not that you can't, but that appreciating, actually, it's okay.
Yes,
it's okay to feel that way. It is just a feeling, and it will pass if you let it.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think it's important to acknowledge that it's not necessarily about looking for a cure. I think what you say about the acceptance of it and learning how to deal with it is a really important thing to get across to people. So, yeah. Definitely.
What about you, Rach?
One thing I've just keeps coming up a lot lately with people I've met in networking and just various conversations about things like hypnotherapy, which is not something I've ever used personally, but the way people talk about the results of hypnotherapy for things like anxiety is absolutely incredible. So I do think that's something worth considering, and I'm sure both of us can point you all in the right direction if you need some recommendations.
Absolutely. I have experienced hypnotherapy, not for anxiety, but for other stuff, and it is just it's just the most amazing results. And as you say, always good to recommend people who you know are properly trained and kosher. And authentic, all of those things, but it is the most, and they can teach you self hypnosis, so that you can, which is one of the things I love, so that actually you can do it for yourself. So it's again about taking ownership and doing it for yourself. So that's another good tip.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a tip that I was given earlier this week, the fact that it's not just about the hypno sessions itself, the fact that you can be taught self-hypnosis, which is then a skill for life. You know, once you've been taught it, that's it. You've got it in your armory to help deal with things. So yeah, that's a fascinating one. Okay, brilliant. Well, do you want to ask your first question?
My first question. It's the joy of this show, isn't it? So I'm sitting looking out into the garden, and there is the most fabulous and beautifully appointed palm tree. So my question is, what's your favourite tree? What's the tree that brings you joy?
Okay, I'm just going to type that in so that people can see it along the bottom. What's my favourite tree? Gosh, that's not something, I'll be honest, that I've ever particularly thought about. But I guess the first place I go with that is an oak tree. Because of I think the leaves are beautiful. The leaf shape is beautiful.
Yeah.
And obviously they can get really nice and big, and I like the idea of sitting under a tree in the sunshine, but in the shade of the sunshine with a book. But I also love what that represents, from little acorns oak trees grow, or whatever the saying is.
That's exactly the same.
Yeah, I got it right. Thank goodness for that. And I love that idea, because I think we can apply that to so many of the things we try and achieve in life, the goals that we set for ourselves. You just need that small germ of an idea to be that little acorn, but you have the possibility to grow that into a big oak tree. And I think that analogy is a really powerful one.
I'm a huge lover of trees, and I think the fact that there are one of the things I love an analogy. One of the things about trees is that obviously there are so many different species. They are all equally beautiful in their own way. They're different shapes, different sizes. Their leaves are different colours. The way that they grow is different. They need different things. They thrive in different environments. And for me, that they're a great analogy for people. So
I was just thinking that as you were describing it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I use trees quite a lot, and there's nothing quite so fabulous, is there, as lying under a palm tree, looking up at the really, really blue sky, and the shapes of those leaves, a bit like a fan. But the trees in general, the fabulous at the moment at the end of May, all of that in all of that new colour, that really spring green, and the leaves and the canopy that it provides, and the shade and the shelter, and all of those myths around trees, Robin Hood, the tree of life, all of those things are just wonderful.
And that's just made me think of the tree in Pocahontas. Yeah, same sort of thing, that kind of Mother Earth kind of,
And it's, ground, it's the thing about, the roots are grounded deep down, that gives you stability deep down in the earth for your grounding, and then the leaves and the canopy reaching up to the sky, and that whole cycle that leaves go, that trees go through. So I use them a lot.
Yeah, no, I like that. If you can be anything, be a tree. I like that. Yeah. That works.
Choose your tree.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so I'll go on to my next question, which has very kindly been asked by one of our regular viewers, Carol, which is lovely. So the question is, how do you feel about the overuse of mobile devices whilst in company, i.e. when you're with friends and family, whether it's at someone's house or whether you're out for a meal or, out somewhere together? How do you feel about the overuse, or you do not believe in overuse of mobile devices? Answer that as you see fit.
I think that it's tricky, isn't it? I think suspending my judgment and being curious. I think there are a number of things. So I'm a huge lover of face-to-face kind of contact. So I think it's about being clear about the boundaries and the reasons for those. Whether you're going out for a meal, it's because actually I really want to see your face, and I really want to interact and have a chat with you. But I'm also conscious that it's become, because I'm even older than you, and because of the commonality and the kind of everydayness of mobiles now, it's just a thing, isn't it? And when I see a group of young people, teenagers, all standing around in a circle, all on their phones at the same time, to me that looks like disconnection, but actually for them it isn't disconnection. It is a different way of connecting. So I'm very
It does
mindful of
depend
that.
on the context, doesn't it? Yeah.
It is a different, yeah. I think there is. So I think it's about setting boundaries, and being clear about what's okay. And it's funny, it was my dad's birthday, my dad's 90th birthday last week, and so I was busy celebrating. So I didn't know where my phone was. It was just somewhere else because and the downside of that is I didn't take any photographs. The upside was that it was just fabulous to be completely present in the moment and enjoying every second of it. But then there were people were saying, "Gosh, you were really quiet. Are you okay? You didn't answer your texts." You know, it was like, no, I didn't, because I was busy doing something else. So I think it's about being, as ever, clarity is kindness, isn't it? Being clear about the boundaries, what you would like to have happen, and saying, actually, just for 2 hours or whatever, I would really prefer it if, you know, everybody puts their phones in their pockets. And we do it when we're facilitating. I say to people, you know, actually, what I need here is your presence. So actually,
absolutely, in the moment,
can you just put your phone in your pocket, turn it on silent? If there's a reason, if you're on call or somebody's about to have a baby or something else is happening in your life where you are on emergency call and you need to be contactable, that's absolutely fine. I get that completely, because you're not present if you're worrying, are you? So knowing that somebody can get you if they need you is perfect. But just that kind of being clear about what you want to have happen, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say a quick hello to Catherine, who has joined us. But yeah, I think I'd agree very much that communication is key here, isn't it? About what those boundaries are, you know, being honest about what your expectations are. And, you know, as an example, at home, particularly at breakfast time when the kids are getting ready for school, the rule is now there are no devices until you have done everything and you're ready to walk out the door. You know, it's just a flat rule. You know, there's no
negotiation.
Yes, because it means, because otherwise, if they're eating their breakfast watching a device or brushing their teeth watching a device, I just find everything takes twice as long. So, you know, it just, particularly when you're in that school rush in the morning, I think it's really important. But equally, I think when you're sat around a table eating, it's about communication with each other, you know, and if you can't really truly communicate with someone who's sat there on a device. So I think meal times are a key one for me, where there shouldn't be any devices. I would love to know what you think about that, Catherine. See if you've got any views on the subject. But yeah, I think I agree also with what you say about the fact that the generational differences. I think the younger generation, because they've just always had access to these devices that bring entertainment instantaneously, which we perhaps didn't have, certainly not in the same way.
We definitely didn't.
You know, it's just natural for them, isn't it, to almost want to be, you know, plugged into the network, connected, you know. So they perhaps view it slightly differently. But
and I wonder if we're going back to that first question that we talked about, anxiety. I wonder if there is a link between being available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, that actually contributes to anxiety in some ways, about either because you're missing out, or that there's that constant, there's no space to recharge and turn your phone off. And there are many people I know who, you know, the settings, you can silence your notifications, you can turn your phone off, you can go,
you can make that choice.
All of those things. And I think those are again, we're back to boundaries, aren't we? That actually I'm not available during these periods of time, and that's okay. And there shouldn't, I don't like the word should, there isn't any need for people to feel uncomfortable by saying I'm not available between, somebody said to me the other day, are you available, you know, 24/7? And I said, no.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No, I'm happy, you know, if you're somebody who works late, you know, and your reflections on our meeting or whatever it is have, you know, come to you at midnight, then that's fine. But I won't be answering at midnight because I'll be asleep.
Absolutely.
Feel free to send it if that's when you know, but don't, you know. So I think it's boundaries, setting those parameters about what's okay for us, and each person is different, isn't it? That's the thing.
Absolutely.
I think group. I think those group that mealtime family sessions around a table are so important.
Yes.
Everybody together, talking, connecting, noticing, and you can't. It's harder to notice if your focus is on your mobile, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And it's just not, you just can't be present in the same way. And Catherine's pointed out something interesting. She says, I understand that in corporate face-to-face meetings nowadays, it's commonplace to have iPads out. And she finds that quite shocking. It's amazing how, because I think a lot of us do have, feel perhaps a slightly negative connotation about devices. But they are so commonplace now. When you go to a restaurant, they're not writing it down on a pad and paper anymore. And normally they're not memorizing it either. It's all in a device. So everywhere you go, there's these devices. And of course, like we've said, for the younger generation, they're just growing up with that as natural. And for us, it's still perhaps not, or perhaps won't ever be as natural. Phones are, and devices are a natural part, a normal accepted part of our lives now, but I don't know that we'll ever view it in quite the same way
as the younger generation.
Yes. And Catherine's agreed as well, setting boundaries so important. And I think we all violently agree on that boundaries is the key here, communicating those boundaries and agreeing
expectations, whether that's in a meeting, iPads, phones, laptops, any of those things. It's like, actually, if we're doing a session, unless there's a specific reason for you to be on an iPad, then I'd like you to turn it off for the time being, because I want you in the room.
I want to know your focus is here. Absolutely.
I want you in the room.
And Catherine's just said, if they're taking notes on that iPad in a meeting, fine, but not surfing the net or answering emails. And again, I think that's perhaps where the communication is really, really important, because people need to know. Some people might be unaware that that's unacceptable. So that communication of what's acceptable and not, whilst having that device in a meeting, that would be really important, I think.
And I also think there is a thing that are fabulous that a human being is, we can't listen and write at the same time. So my concern is also when people are taking notes, they're listening less and writing more. And so actually, there are two things. One is about listen and take your notes afterwards, because the things that remember. But also there's that tacit knowledge, isn't there? That tacit knowledge is that knowledge that we don't necessarily know that we have. And it only comes out in conversation.
Yes.
And so that there's no other way that we can access it. So actually conversation is really important. And I think people, so that's why quite often I'll say, well, I'll send you notes. You don't have to worry about taking notes. I'll send you the kind of, whatever it is we're doing, so that you've got the framework, you've got the stuff, and you don't need to worry about remembering stuff. You've got it. Actually, what I'd really like you to do is be present in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, love that. I think we're in definite agreement on that one. So it's your turn to ask me your next question, Jenny.
Well, that kind of it kind of links with something I said earlier, and I just again about that 24-hour availability. So, are you an early bird, Rachel, or are you a night owl?
Right, so I'm just typing that in so people can see it on the screen. Am I an early bird or a night owl? I would have to say night owl. I don't necessarily struggle with getting up early if I need to, particularly if there's a good reason. However, and I when I think back to studying, when I was at university and any study I've done since, really, I'm very good at procrastinating about what needs to be done and then end up doing it, stay up all night to achieve what you need to submit an essay or whatever it is for the next day. And I think my preference would probably be to stay up and do the work rather than get up super early to do it. I often think it would be so good for me to get up way before the kids in the morning and do some exercise, you know, do some of my social media posting, you know, get some things out the way. And I love the idea of doing it. The practicalities are I would rather stay in bed that little bit longer. So yes, I guess I would have to say I'm a night owl. What about you?
Well, it's funny, isn't it? I would have, if you'd asked me 15, 20 years ago, I would have said, oh, of course I'm a night owl. But actually, when I was doing my doctorate, what I realised was I wasn't. I'm an early bird. And
Right.
so I used to get up. My children were kind of little then. And I used to get up. When I say it now, I think, how did I do that? I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work from 4 till 8 in school holidays and half terms and things. I used to work from 4 till half 8 because I knew that I had that obviously nobody in the world's up at that time in the morning, so it was just me, so I could get my work done uninterrupted. And then at 8:30, by the time they were teenagers, it was slightly later, but by the time that they got up, I had kind of done a huge chunk, so I felt again I could be really present with them during the day. So if I would much rather get up early, and but like you, I think that's a different personality trait. But that kind of leaving it till the last minute, I also do that, and put myself under the pressure of a deadline. Means that people with that personality trait do some of their best work under pressure, but it does put us under pressure. But
yes, that's the problem, isn't it? We're good under pressure, but pressure isn't always a good thing. And you know, Catherine has said the same. She's just like me.
I'm
in good company, Catherine.
It is a preference, isn't it? So that we, even I remember saying, you know, I did a lot of my studying part-time as well as working, and I always used to be last minute Lucy, rushing down the corridor with an assignment. And I said, well, when I do it full time, I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to be really measured and tidy and keep it all, you know, the other way of being. And of course, when I did my doctorate, I was doing it full time, and I was absolutely the same. So it made no difference.
Not much changes then.
No.
And Catherine can't believe you got up at a time with a 4 in it.
I know it was. And I can't believe that I did it now. I think it, and again, I think it's that you know, that when something matters to you, that level of commitment.
I was just going to say, I think it depends what your motivation is, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that commitment, like you said at the beginning, well, I can get up early when I have to, but it's not, you know, I can stay up late when I have to, but my preference is I'd rather get up early. It means I'm done by lunchtime.
Which is no bad thing.
Peaked early.
Oh, and Catherine says, I might work until 3 a.m. to meet a deadline, but get up early, ? Obviously, a no to getting up early. So, I think,
And again, it's understanding that, isn't it? So it's understanding it and asking people. So it's a good question to ask with your clients, because if you're both happy to exchange emails at 3 o'clock in the morning, then that's fine. It's not a problem. However, I'll be asleep. And I draft mine and I don't send them at 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't get up at that time normally, but it's about those boundaries and expectations, isn't it? Being clear.
And letting people know, absolutely.
Letting people know when you're available.
Okay, fabulous. So my last question today is, what is your favourite ice cream? And this is another viewer question that we've been sent in.
I love really fabulous Italian gelato, and I'm not sure I can narrow it down to one.
Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it?
It is a tough one. Yeah. I love pistachio. I love pistachio, but I also love a really lovely coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee and pistachio. Any of the nutty ones. I do like a nutty ice cream.
Okay.
But I think it's that hand churned, you know, Italian. The Italians do ice cream like nobody else, don't they?
Yeah.
Although I've noticed my parents live in Cheshire, and it's a dairy producer, you know, it's a dairy county, lots of cows, and there are a number of very fabulous posh ice cream places, people diversifying. So I think that really proper ice cream.
Proper nice ice cream.
Proper nice ice cream.
About that, isn't there? Catherine says pistachio or salted caramel, both of which are flavours I would approve of.
What about you, Rachel? What's your favourite?
Caramel for you?
No.
No.
Bit sweet.
Yeah. Now, I suppose if you really pushed me, my lifelong favourite ice cream would be mint choc chip.
That's my mum's favourite.
Is it? Oh. But I really, really like, and interestingly, or ironically, or whatever the word is, I had some just the other day, is cherry and chocolate flavour. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. It was Ben and Jerry's. There are other brands available. Wow, just the deep fruity flavour of cherry in an ice cream.
Yes,
wonderful.
There is an ice cream shop on the east coast of but I think you have to walk. I was enticed to do a walk from Sea Houses to Bamborough along Bamborough Beach, which is absolutely
gorgeous.
If anybody's absolutely gorgeous. But the reward at the other end was a coffee shop that does this ice cream, and they do black cherry and licorice ice cream, which is absolutely sublime. It was worth every second. It was even worth it on the way home when it blew a gale and we were sandblasted on the sand. The wind was so strong on the way home. We had a kind of free exfoliation of our skin. But it was black cherry in an ice cream, sour cherry, black cherry.
Yeah, and we've got another shout out for Cherry from Catherine as well. And she says, cherry liqueur chocolates are my all-time favourite chocolates. Now, I can see why, absolutely, but I'm really funny with that. I don't like food with alcohol in.
No, I don't either.
So liqueur chocolates, I'm not a fan.
You can have mine, Catherine.
Yes, Catherine, you can have mine too. And if we're ever all together for Christmas dinner with Christmas pudding, I just want custard, not brandy butter or brandy anything. And if it's trifle, leave the cherry out of it. Just have the rest. You know, I'm not one for alcohol.
I do love a sherry trifle. And I do love a tiramisu, which also has alcohol in it.
Yeah, that's why I'm a bit mixed on tiramisu because of the alcohol taste. I'd prefer it without.
Do you think? I just wonder. Is sometimes people over? I think the thing about alcohol in cooking, and we've gone slightly off at a tangent here. It's the joy of the Renny show.
Indeed. Stay with us.
Sometimes people over egg. Sometimes people over egg it.
Yes, which is easily done.
Yeah.
And Catherine's overjoyed. Oh, you've disappeared.
I have. Sorry, I don't know what's happened. Sorry.
Come back to us, Jenny. Yes, but Catherine's overjoyed because she's very on board. I think with having the liqueur chocolates and the sherry trifle for us. So wonderful.
I love a sherry trifle, but I think
you love it. Yes, you love the
trifle. Too much in it, so you just have to be gentle with it.
The right amount.
Sometimes less is more.
Yes, in so many areas of life. Yeah, not just sherry trifle. Oh dear. And someone else, I can't see who it is, but someone on Facebook says, I love tiramisu. I think it's the alcohol. Well, that's fair enough too. You know, you are allowed to love the taste. That's fine.
And they do a tiramisu ice cream. I have had tiramisu ice cream, which is beautiful. Well, it's that coffee. It's kind of coffee with a bit of brandy in it, you know. So it is. You can get tiramisu ice cream. Facebook user. So try that.
I'm so sorry, it doesn't tell us who it is. But
I know that you have to give StreamYard permission to see for us to see who you are.
So naughty StreamYard doesn't tell us. But,
yes. Just
it sounds like Catherine might be off. She says, lovely to see us both. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Catherine. It's absolutely wonderful to have some live interaction in the conversation. So thank you very much for being here. And
we'll be off very shortly, won't we?
We are, yes. Have
last
we asked more questions? Is this the last one?
It is the last one, and it's because you mentioned Christmas. You see, I've made the connection. So my question, funny enough, which was before you mentioned Christmas, was what's the best gift that you've ever had?
Okay, I'm just typing that in so it comes on the screen. What's the best gift? That's a really interesting one. Do you know the first one that springs to mind is a gift that my husband gave me a couple of Christmases ago, because I really struggled to come up with a list of suggested things, and you know, I was very much of the opinion, because I think we must have been, it was either 2020 or 2021, because we were still in the throes of lockdowns and all that stuff. And I said, you know, I just want us to be together. You know, I think lockdown helped a lot of people to realise how important just that togetherness was. So he did something really interesting, which was to buy me this wonderful handmade bag from Africa, and it comes, it's, so the money obviously goes to a charity to help people who are in need out there. And you know, there was a story that came with it about how these ladies got together and made these bags to try and help themselves and build a life for themselves. And it makes me emotional thinking about it now. I got so, I was overcome with emotion when I opened this and read about it. And it just, it's a gift that just brought such joy, which, you know, a gift doesn't have to be a tangible one to bring joy, but this particular gift just brought so much joy, because I knew that on my behalf, he'd paid money that would help them in their endeavours and in their life, and that was just very, very special. I think that will always stay with me.
It's, and I guess it's that thing, isn't it, that it absolutely sings to the things that both of us value,
Yes.
about both helping people, but helping people to help themselves. So it's supporting small businesses and all of those things.
Yeah, it's definitely a values thing, isn't it? I think that it touches there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think often, you know, people. One of my friends made me a gift the other day. I went to see her, I hadn't seen her for a long time, and she had made me this amazing hand and body cream, all organic. It's just a little thing, but I made it with love. And I said, you know, that is so special.
Yes.
It's and it works. It's beautiful stuff. It works a treat. It's very
even better.
So it does what it says on the tin, but it says on the tin that it was made with love, and I think that's so often we think that we have to give, you know, big, shiny, expensive gifts, and actually sometimes the gift of time, the gift of presence, all of the things that we've talked about are just as vital as the things. Sometimes it's the things underneath the things, isn't it?
Yes,
that really matter.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, what you've touched on there as well is the intent behind something. It doesn't have to be expensive, lavish, but the thought behind it is so important. When you know that someone's put some thought into that, whether it is an actual gift or whether it is time that they're kind of gifting you, the fact that they've taken the time to think about that, to think about you, it just makes it so special.
My sister, and my sister for my dad's birthday had made him the most fabulous patchwork cushion, and the patchwork was made up of a piece of loved fabric from every single member of the family.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And it's fabulous. I will put it in there. I'll put it on social media. So if you're following it, you can have a look. But it was fabric from all of us, so that he knows that every single family member, every time he sits with that cushion, he knows that we're all with him.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that.
It was lovely.
What a lovely note to end the show on. I know,
it's good, isn't it? Yeah, it was. That kind of, you know, we might be in pieces, but we're all together.
Yes, absolutely. That's perfect. Sums it up. Yeah. Love it. Okay. Well, again, Jenny, thank you so much for making yourself available all the way from the US of A to be on the Renny show today. For anyone that's watching and anyone that's watching on replay, the show that is due in a fortnight's time, because I'm on jury service, it's going to have to be a pre-recorded show that we upload on the day. However, it will still be very much in the same vein. We will do it absolutely live. There will be no editing. We still won't know the questions in advance. It will be done in exactly the same manner. We just have to do it at a slightly different time because I will be sat at Lincoln Crown Court doing whatever I need to do for jury service. So please do join us again because we will be live 2 weeks today, same time, same place. And as always, well, I say as always, as is now the case, the shows are all uploaded onto YouTube as well. So you can catch us there anytime you like, anytime that suits. We'll make sure that you have all the links for that. So fantastic. Well, it's been lovely to see you, Jenny. Go and have a wonderful time for Archie's birthday with your family. And I shall look forward to seeing you very soon again.
It's always a joy, Rachel. As we always say, don't we, that we leave these shows with a great big grin. It sets us up for the week, the day.
It really does.
So hopefully people listen, it also does the same for them. So it's an absolute joy to see your face and to chat. And see you in a couple of weeks.
Fabulous. Well, take care, Jenny, and take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.